Welcome to the session. Topic of this session is undiscounted measures of project worth. We have different factor of productions like land, labor and capital, and this factor of productions have the competing use among the alternative projects. And purpose is to get the maximum output by using this alternative, by using this factor of production which are available in the limited quantity in the country. So actually to select the best projects which provide the optimal output or the maximum output from using these inputs, we need to conduct the project evaluations or project appraisal, and in which basically we measure the worth of the project or the project cost and benefit. And there are different techniques available like the undiscounted measures of the project worth or discounted measure of project worth. And in the discounted measure of project worth, we basically consider the time value of the money, but in case of the undiscounted measures of project worth, which are simple methods, we do not consider the time value of the money. Actually we assume the all the cost and benefits which are there in the project, all the cost incurred in the projects or all the output realized over the period of time, they have the same value, but in actual that is not the condition. So but they are the simple techniques to measure the project worth, and we can compare easily the different projects. And actually at least we can when we have the large number of the project, we can use this undiscounted measures of project worth to have preliminary the scrutiny or preliminary estimation, and so we can have a preliminary judgment about the worthwhileness of the different projects. So in this session basically we will be discussing the undiscounted measures of project worth, and there are different techniques of the undiscounted measure of the project worth. Like we have discussed that various projects compete for the limited resources like land, labor and capital, and we need to evaluate the relative benefits expected from this project. So because this limited resource we can use in different projects, so that's why we need to evaluate these different projects for their relative benefits which are expecting from the project. So and there are two appraisal techniques like undiscounted methods and discounted cash flow methods, and our focus is here on the undiscounted measures. So they are basically the NAVI method of choosing among the alternative projects. They are basically crude or a preliminary type of study, and cost and benefits are basically estimated under the discounting measures without discounting the future stream of the expenditure to be incurred on the project and income generated by it. So here we do not do the discounting procedure, we simply compare the cost and benefit here in this project. So let us understand this the undiscounted measures by having one example. We have the 4 hypothetical projects for our convenience, and basically each project is calling for an investment in irrigation pump, and the more or less the alternative of each other. These projects are basically alternative to each other, but if there were sufficient fund, if sufficient fund is available, we can accept all the projects, but we have the limited funds, so that's why we have to select the best project or best alternative. And projects are basically only illustrative nature. This example is basically for the illustrative nature or illustrative purpose only, and we are making here highly unrealistic assumption to illustrate the concept of the undiscounting techniques more clearly, and we can quickly understand this project analysis technique. So we can later on we can have more realistic or example of the the undiscounting techniques in practice. So we have the project for the pump irrigations, or we are assuming that the pump for irrigation project is completely used. There is no residual value after 2-3 years of the operation of this pump set. Due to we can assume that the sand is available in the water. That's why the useful life of this project is only this pump is only 2 to 3 years. This we are assuming here, and we are also assuming here that there is no uncertainty about the cost and return of the benefits. So this is also we are assuming there is no uncertainty in terms of cost and benefits from the project. And we are including here the operation and maintenance cost and production cost while estimating the project worth. And here the net value of the increment production, basically we can get this net value of the incremental production by we have the gross value of the incremental production, and when we do the we minus the operation maintenance cost and the production cost from the gross value of the incremental production, we get the net value of the incremental production. So first let us understand the cost or incremental cost and the gross return from the project, and then all 4 projects, and so then we can go for different techniques of undiscounted techniques. So in the project 1, the capital cost or capital cost of the capital item or investment in the first year is 30,000 rupees, and in the second year and third year and every year the operational maintenance cost is 2,000 rupees and the production cost is 3,000 rupees. So the gross cost, the increment cost in the first year is 30,000, in the second year 5,000, third year is again 5,000, and total cost is 40,000. And the production activities here in this project 1 is only for 2 years. And then here the value of incremental production, that is gross benefit, is there. So in the second year there is a 20,000 rupees gross benefit, and the third year also 20,000 benefit. So this project is overing in the third year. So after third year there is no production activity, so there is no cost. And in net value of the incremental production here is basically 15,000. That is after deducting 5,000 the incremental cost from the 20,000, that is the gross benefit. So 15,000 in the second year, 15,000 in the third year is the net incremental production. So total in net incremental production is 30,000 in the project 1. So 40,000 is the gross benefit, 30,000 is the net incremental, or the total cost of the project of this project 1 is the 40,000. Now we will move to the this project 2. So in the project 2 again 30,000 is the capital investment, and then this here the production activity is for 3 years. So the operation and maintenance in the first year 2,000, and second year also 2,000, third year also 2,000. And then in similar manner the production cost is 3,000 every year. So here total gross cost of the project is 45,000. So and in the when we talk about the gross benefit, the value of incremental production, that is in the second year 20,000, and third year 20,000, and fourth year that is 9,100. So in the first 2 years there is equal gross benefit of 20,000, and third year the gross benefit declined to 9,100. So that's why when we talk about the net value of the incremental production or incremental benefit, that is in the first year 15,000, second year 50,000, and third year 4,100, and total net value of the incremental benefit is 34,100, and gross benefit is 49,100, and total cost of the project is 45,000. And in the third project, so the cost is same like second project. So total cost is 45,000, but here the output stream or the benefit stream, there is a change from the project 2. Like in the first year we are getting 7,000 of gross benefit, and third year we are getting 19,000, and fourth year we are getting 31,000. So here the value of the benefit is increasing over the period of time, like from 17,000 then become 19,000 and 31,000 in the fourth year. Whereas it was in the second year, first year in the second year we were getting to 20,000, then again 20,000, then we were getting the less amount. So in similar manner, the net value of the incremental production will in the second year 2,000, then it increased to 14,000, then it increased to 26,000. So total net benefit in the project third is the 42,000, and the gross benefit is 57,000, and total cost is 45,000. And in the project 4, again the incremental cost pattern is the same in the project 2, project 3, and project 4. The cost item is the same, but here again change is there. Like in the first year we are getting 7,000, third year we are getting 31,000, and in the fourth year we are getting now 19,000. Whereas it was in the third project, first year we were getting the 7,000, then the second year we were getting the 19,000, and third year we were getting the 31,000. But here so the change here is in the third year and fourth year. So here in the third year we are getting maximum return, and fourth year we are getting here less. Whereas it was in the third project, the maximum return we were getting in the fourth year. So there is a change in the pattern of the getting the benefits. So in such situation, this fourth scenario we can say how to take the decision while applying the discounting technique we will be discussing in this session. So there are different methods, different techniques of discounted measures, like ranking by inspection, payback period, proceed per rupees of output or outlay, and then average annual proceed of rupee outlay, then average income on book value of the investment. So let us first understand the ranking by inspection. So ranking by inspection is simply seeing the stream of the cost and benefit. We can have some estimation. So decision here is based on the size of the cost and length of the cash flow stream. So two things we see, what is the magnitude of cost, and we also see the length of the cash flow stream, how many years the return are there. Suppose two projects are with the same investment and same net value of the production. We have two projects where we are getting the same investment is there, that is like in our project 30,000 is the same investment in all the project. But in some of the project, when we have the same net value of the production, but with the difference in the length of the period. So if like in project 112, project 1 was only for second year and third year, but project 3 was for the one more year, that is the project year 4. So in this condition, basically we select the project with longer durations. Longer duration are preferred to the one with the shorter time of period. So, and basically this may lead to the bias in the choice due to the absence of more elaborate and appropriate analysis. and decision is taken by simply looking at the investment cost and the shape of the stream or for the net value of the incremental production. So here we have the two cases basically, when we compare this four projects scenario. So we have the two projects with the same investment analysis, like two projects produce the same net value of the incremental production for a period. That is, one continue to earn longer than the other. So project 1 and 2, when we compare, so here we choose the project 2 rather than the project 1, because here we get the return for a longer period of time. We are getting return for 1 extra year. And for the same investment project, like the project 3 and project 4, we have the same investment cost. The total net value of the incremental production may be same. Here in the project 3 and project 4, we are getting the same net incremental benefit, or net same, we are getting same incremental production, but one project has more of the flow earlier in the time sequence. Like in the project 4, actually we were getting 31,000 in the year 3, but in the project 3 we were getting 31,000 in the project 4. That's why we choose the project 4 rather than the project 3, where we are getting the maximum return earlier than the other projects. So, but by inspection it is difficult to choose between the project 4 and project 3. When we compare the project 4 and project second, we cannot have a decision by using this technique, that is ranking by inspection. Then another technique is the payback period, and here this is another simple techniques or simple methods of ranking a project. And here basically we see the length of the time required to get back the investment on the project. So actually we select the project which give as less possible the investment we have made. Like we have made the investment in all the projects, that is 30,000, and so we will choose that project from which we get this 30,000 as earliest possible. So the payback period of the project is estimated by using the straightforward formula, that is P is equal to I divided by E. So here P is basically payback period of the project in year, and I is the investment of the project in rupees, and E is basically the annual net cash revenue in rupees. And here we can understand the calculation of the payback period. Here we are having another example, like there are two projects, project A and project B is there, and the initial investment in the project is 20,000 rupees in each project, and the cash flow we are getting from the project in the project A, we are getting 5,000 every year from in the project A, and the cash flow in the project B, we are getting at the rate of 4,000 every year. And we can calculate the payback period in the project A as like 20,000, which is the initial investment, which is divided by the 5,000, that is the cash flow every year. So in the project A, the payback period is the 4 year, and in similar manner in the case of a project B, the payback period is 5 years, that is by dividing the 20,000 of the initial investment by the 4,000 of the cash flow every year. So here in case of the project B, we get the 5 years as the payback period. So basically we will choose the project year by calculating the payback period in this example, because here we getting the initial investment in 4 years, whereas in the project B we will be recovering our initial investment in the 5 year. But this exercise is basically inadequate, or basically inadequate to exercise the options for selecting the project. And this technique failed to consider very important points, like the consistency of the running, the timing of the proceeds. Like example is that if we are getting in the project A 5,000 in early period, and after completing that 4 years there was a no return, or there is a the cash flow decline from the 5,000 to 2,000. So there is a no clear cut pictures is being provided using the payback periods. And in the payback period technique, basically there is no consideration about the returns which we received after the payback period. Whether the cash flow would be the positive or negative in future, there is no consideration, there is no decision, there is no consideration at all in the while calculating the payback period. The next technique under the undiscounted technique is the proceeds per rupees of the outlay, and basically this is worked out by dividing the total receipt from the total amount of the investment. So in a given project, our project is basically ranked based on the highest magnitude of the parameter, that is the proceed per rupees of the outlay. And basically we can get this figure by dividing the total receipt with the total amount of the investment. So basically, so many times we rank the investment using this method. We rank the investment using this method, that is the proceed per unit of outlay, and which is basically the total net value of the incremental production divided by the total amount of the investment. And here we can see the calculation about the proceed per unit of outlay for our hypothetical pump irrigation project. So like in every project, the incremental cost, that is the capital investment, is 30,000, and the total net value of the incremental production in the project 1 is 30,000, in the project 2 is 34,100, and project 3 and project 4 is the 42,000. So when we divide the total net value of the incremental production with the incremental cost, we get the proceed per unit of outlay. So in case of the project 1, the proceed per unit of outlay is the 1. In the project 2, it is 1.14, and project 3 and project 4 is 1.4. So when we give the rank, so project 3rd and project 4 they got the rank 1, and in case of the they get the project 1, and the rank 3 is given to the project 2, and rank 4 is given to the project 1. So actually project 1 and project 2 are basically correctly ranked, but because they have got the project 3 rank and 4th rank. But in case of the project 3rd and project 4, we got the same rank, that is 1. We have to select one project from the project 3rd and project 4 by using this technique, but there is no concluding which should be the which project should be chosen out of these 4 projects. So there is still we cannot go for a proper conclusion using this technique. There is some problem is there. So by simple inspection, actually we should choose the project 4, because there is a same rank we are getting in the project 3 and project 4. But when we simply see the cost and benefit stream of the project 3 and project 4, we will choose the project 4, because its returns are received earlier. Because in the project 4 we were getting the 31,000, that is the next maximum return in the that is early than the project 3. That's why we will choose the project 4. So the criteria of proceed per unit of outlay fails to consider basically the timing of the the receipt of the benefit, and money to be received in the future weight as heavily as money in the hand today. So here because we are not considering the time value money, so the money which we are getting in the future will be getting more weight here in this technique. Then another technique is the average annual proceed of rupee outlay. This is another simple choice criteria we can use, and in this procedure basically total receipt are first divided by the project life span. So in the project 1, the project life span was 2 years, and in the project 3 and project 4 or project 2, the project life span was the 3 years. So the average proceed obtained per year are divided by the initial investment on the projects, and the ranking is given to the project based on the highest magnitude of the estimate, and here we can see the calculation for the average annual proceed per unit of outlay. And we have the incremental cost or capital item, basically the 30,000 for each project, and the net value of the incremental production in the project 1 to 4 is given here, like 30,000, 34,100, 42,000 and 42,000. And the average net of incremental production per year we got by dividing the this net value of the incremental production by the years of the production. So in the first procedure, the production was only for 2 years, so that's why the 30,000 is divided by 2, we got the 15,000. And in the project 3, the production was for 3 years, so 34,100 is divided by 3, so we got the 11,367. So in this manner we calculate the average net value of the incremental production per year. And the average annual proceed per unit of outlay, we got here, like the 15,000 divided by the 30,000, and then 11,000 divided by the 34,000. In similar manner, the 14,000 is divided by 42,000. So we got this average annual proceed per unit of outlay, that is in case of project 1 is the 0.50, in case of project 2 it is 0.38, and project 3 and 4 we are getting 0.47. So project 1 is ranked best, and the project 3 and 4 is the second rank, and project 2 is basically ranked as 4. So this technique also have some serious flaws, like fail to take into consideration the length of the time of the benefit stream, and there is a serious bias towards the short-lived investment with high cash proceed, because we got here in the project 1 as ranked as 1 because the production activity was for only 2 years, so that's why we got the more ratio average unit proceed per average annual proceed per unit outlay is 0.5, which is more compared to other projects. So that's why. So that is the basically serious flow. And in this technique, basically average annual proceed of rupees outlay, project 1 is ranked much better than the project 2, although we know that the simple inspection, the project 2 is the project which we would choose when we see simply the cost and benefit. Similarly, we cannot choose between the project 3 and 4 by using this method. By inspection, we will choose the project 4 because it returned its benefit earlier. So this criteria is misleading because it seems to allow for time by introducing annual into the terminology. Then another technique is the average income on book value of the investment, and here it is the ratio of the average income to the book value of the assets, the value after subtracting the depreciation stated in the percentage term. So this is the useful and commonly useful way of assessing the performance of any individual firm, and widely known as the measure of performance, and it is also sometimes used as an investment criteria. And for the purpose of illustration, what we are doing, we are using the straight line depreciation of our irrigation project, and thus we will compute the average book value by dividing the investment into 2. So here the calculation is given, like the average net value of the incremental production is 15,000, we have earlier also calculated, and the annual depreciation is 15,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, because in the 30,000 the total cost of capital. So here in the project 1 the useful life is 2 years. So 30,000 divided by 2 is the 15,000, and in another project we are getting the production for 3 years. So we are dividing the 30,000 with 3, so we are getting 10,000 as the annual depreciation. And average income, we are getting here, the in the project 1 0, in the project 2 basically actually average income we are getting as a proceed less the depreciation. So like 15,000 minus 50,000 is the it will come to 0, and then 11,000 minus the 10,000, 1,367. So and the third project, fourth project, 4,000, that is the average income. And in the book value of the assets is the 15,000, because 2 years is the useful life of that asset. So we are using the straight line formula. So 30,000 divided by 2 is the 15,000. So average income on book value is in the project 1 is the 0, in the project 2 is the 9, and project 3 and 4 is the 27. So here we can take the project 3rd and 4th as number 1 project, and project 3 as 3, project 2 as 3 rank, and project 1 is the 4th rank. So this method correctly choose between the project 1 and 2 again, and it failed to choose between the project 3 and 4 because it does not take adequate account of timing for the benefit stream. And there are some shortcomings of the undiscounted measure of the project worth, like it fails to take into account adequately the timing of the benefit stream. And in the case of the ordinary inspection, there was no way of choosing between project 3rd and 4th we have seen, and if the project are much more complex than these simple or simplified examples we have understood, the project would be too complicated to rank by inspection. We will be not able to choose the project by inspection simply. So we get different ranking for same data of the project by using different discounting techniques. So choice process become useless because we are getting different type of results for the same data of the investment and benefits. So ranking by these methods are inconsistent and incompatible. Now we can sum up this session that there are 2 categories of the project appraisal techniques are there: undiscounted method and discounted method. And the undiscounted methods are simple techniques or simple methods, and at least we can use the undiscounted measures for the initial filtering, where there are large number of the projects are there. For we need to compare the large number of the projects. We can use this undiscounted techniques for filtering, initial filtering we can use. And there are some weaknesses of the undiscounted measures, like they do not adequately take into account the timing of the benefit stream, and they are difficult to take decisions if projects are complex. We cannot take the decisions if the projects are complex, and the results from these techniques are inconsistent and incompatible. So there are some weaknesses is there. Still we can use this simple discounted methods for comparing the projects, and particularly the payback period is the most popular undiscounted measures of the project worth measuring. Thank you very much.